Tommy Tom O'Neill, all that silly good shit. This is unboxing. We appreciate you. We appreciate the thumbs up, the views. I am sorry that I added in a Kamaru Usman and MMA pick, but you guys, I can't feel bad about that one. That is a once-in-a-lifetime thing, so there's a quick shout-out to that right there. That was truly fucking unheard of. Just the way that it looked. Leon Edwards puts Kamaru Usman completely out cold with his eyes wide open. I mean, it looked horrible. It was the worst way that a guy like that, who's the pound-for-pound ranked fighter in all of MMA in any weight class, really could get put out. Anyways, we are a boxing podcast. That is what I'm here to do. So there is a lot to cover and unwrap today. We're going to later on in the episode get into the Jose Pedraza versus Richard Commey fight that will take place this Saturday on ESPN+. But the first thing we're going to do is get right into this Alexander Usyk versus Anthony Joshua 2, the Rage on the Red Sea. We ended up doing a live for it. Very hard these days for me to figure out my time that I have and to what extent I can do things. We had some friends over. It was a good time. It's a format that I'm still getting used to, and I just kind of lean into saying what I want to say when I think there's something worth saying, but also just kind of like a watch-along party and having fun with my friends. So, the way that I want to do this today is I'm going to give you my scorecard. Again, I realize I'm having fun with my friends and half watching it and drinking at the time there. So, what we did the last night on Sunday night is rewatch it. I rewatched it for a third time this morning as well. Just to get all my ducks in order and feel that I have a good take on this fight to present you guys with. So first off, I scored it. I scored it 7-5 for Usyk. If you had an 8-4 scorecard for Usyk. Originally, I didn't think that's that much of a problem. I a little bit do now. A little bit. This was a close fight, man. It wasn't just close in the rounds that were scored, but most of these rounds, a lot of these rounds, about half these rounds were very close back and forth rounds. So round one, it's kind of a feel-out round, right? And Usyk's kind of sticking that lead hand out, using it to blind AJ, get in his face, parry down, jabs, things like that. I thought that Anthony Joshua did a good job of sticking the jab down to the body a lot in this round. I did give that first round to Anthony Joshua. Second round, I as well give to Anthony Joshua. In the third round, I still gave to Anthony Joshua. 3 rounds in a row to open up this fight. I felt towards the end of the third, Usyk was a little bit finding some sort of something that he could work off, because this is what fighters like him that are very intelligent and when they're just downloading data, they really believe that they can 100% figure you out, and the game is only don't take too long to do it. And I'm sure, by the way, that Alexander Usyk did not plan on losing 3 rounds straight to open this fight. I'm sure of that. That's quite obvious. So Anthony Joshua, basically, the key to these first 3 rounds that I gave to him was said by the commentators, which I fully agree with, actually, is that he wasn't biting on feints. So he was in a stalking position. He wasn't throwing wildly, because you don't want to do that, right? A lot of people, myself included, had kind of a game plan laid out for Joshua, be more aggressive. That's true, but you got to remember, you guys, you don't want to be too wild. You'll just get caught, especially by a fantastic boxer. They don't even need a lot of power if all your shots are winging overhands and wild hooks, you know? So I thought the stick and the jab down to the body from Joshua was good, and I thought that any sort that or any success that he had basically came from not biting on feints of Usyk. Fourth round comes out, and what I noticed specifically from Usyk to win this fourth round, which I gave him as his first round, was constant circling of Anthony Joshua, and also upping the pace. Usyk always has a lot of movement, but that side to side and step back to this was like more of a constant circle and confusing of how to get off shots to Anthony Joshua, even to the body, right? And that was kind of, I think, what started. And he always uses his lead hand a lot. He always used it in many different ways, and he was doing that from the start of round one on, but it wasn't working, wasn't enough. And so in round four, there was more actual output and punches attempted from Usyk, and he definitely had success, won that fourth round. So that's a 10-9 for him. So now, keeping you up to date, I have it 3-1. 3-1, sorry. Fifth round, I also give that to Usyk. I think that's just a clear Usyk round. Let's move right along. Sixth round, I give this to Usyk, although this one definitely took me at least the second watch, if not the third, to really, I didn't catch it in real time because, again, I'm having fun, it's loud, people are over, I'm drinking, so what I really was a little eye-opening is that I think that sixth round was damn close. I scored that for Usyk, but that's a close round. Basically, in that sixth round, there's more clean, precise punching from Usyk. His punches land cleaner. His work is a little bit crisper and better than Anthony Joshua. But Anthony Joshua has all of the impactful punches, even some that are hitting on the glove or physically moving Usyk dramatically, because he's a much bigger man, Anthony Joshua. But yeah, that's a close round. So I leaned Usyk in that round. Keep that in mind. Round 7, I don't think is that close. That's a Usyk round. Now, here's the thing. Round 8 is somewhat close as well to me. Now, because I gave it to Anthony Joshua before, I really checked out the work of Usyk making that round close, and almost to just prove a point to you guys, if I flipped on the other close round and gave it to Usyk, we give this round to Joshua. We gave this to, I've watched it a couple times. This round 8 is close, but I gave that to Joshua. Round 9 is the best Joshua round there is. He hurts Usyk, and he actually does the perfect job of following up, chasing him down, but intelligently, cutting him off, putting him against the ropes, using a little bit of that physicality in there, leaning on him, and attacking to the body a lot. More than the jab to score, but real hooks to the body, trying to find the liver. And then we get round 10. This is why I want to do the scorecard first, because this is the best way to describe the emotion of this fight. So that's the best Joshua round in round 9. Round 10 starts, like I said, Usyk was even hurt in that round and stuff. Round 10 starts, Alexander Usyk just really makes a statement here. This might be the best Usyk round, for God's sakes. So they just exchange them between 10 and 9, and definitely give this round to Usyk. And he is just not only upping his output, but instead of the boxing game, it's almost because he was hurt, almost because he wanted to, there's an emphasis that I feel sometimes, and I'm not a clairvoyant, okay, guys, but sometimes when I watch a fight, more than just the technique, which is the most important part, but more than that, there's like a feeling of why things are happening, to me at least. And I love that about boxing. And so this wasn't, everybody wants to win every round, but sometimes there are strategies to, okay, I'm hurt, I'm tired, take one off, I'll get back. It's him coming out this way, and then not only just jabbing, not moving so much, but standing standing in front of AJ and hooking, throwing wild hooks to his guard and around his guard. This was a great round for Usyk, and I really got the feeling that it was purposely done, and he took risks in this round to win it in that style, because he knew he had a bad round 9 and wanted to, as soon as possible, set a precedence that this will not, like, I will not let the momentum swing here. That was what I felt. It was so important to Usyk in that round 10, and he really showed it. I mean, it spoke to me in that way. That's just an inspirational round from Usyk. And then round 11, I give that to Usyk. That's not that close, right? But you can clearly see that in this round 11, as he worked on in 9, he was even probing to the body before, but 9 was a lot of body attacks from AJ. I think even though he lost this round 11, he was letting his hands go, and he was almost solely kind of focusing on the body. And being that he even had hurt Usyk before in round 9, I think he was under the impression, yeah, sure, I want to win this round, but the most important thing to him was go to the body hard here, and let's make this really hard and tiresome as we can for Usyk coming into the final round. You could see his intent of clearly going to the body with hard shots and not trying in this round to keep up as much output as Usyk, but specifically to take the wind out of him as much as he could by going to the body. And then a brutal round 12. Here's the other thing. I think Anthony Joshua with this body attack thing, that part of that, another little just weird feeling that I got about watching this fight several times is that we all wanted Anthony Joshua to come out, and by the way, it's only 6-5 right now. I had it after round 11 going into the last round. Could have been a draw for AJ if he won that round. So the intensity of this fight held up to the last minute. Here's the thing. We all said we wanted Anthony Joshua, and all the critics, myself included, man, I'm a bit of an Anthony Joshua critic. We all said, just be more aggressive, you're bigger, lean on him, make it dirty, things like that. We saw him do some of that and be successful with that in round 9. We saw him go into the body even though he lost that round 11 with really great body work, though, by AJ. And I felt like this 12th round, whereas people will come away with, oh, it's just another boxing thing, he never pushed the pace. What I saw in round 12 was the man, AJ, that had invested so much in going to the body. My output might not be as great, my shots might not be as clean, but used my strength a bit. He never went to town other than that round 9. But in this 12th round, what I saw was actually him attempting to do that, kind of go for broke. He was not being as careful as he was before, and you gotta realize, myself included, man, this is what we asked of him. We asked of him, take risks, not only just go in there, make it dirty. It's hard to do that against a good boxer, against a slick boxer, a good counterpuncher. And so what that comes with naturally for anybody is you're taking risks when you are coming in. And you don't want to be too careless, but to make a fight dirty, to push a fight to only be fought on the inside, to lean on your opponent, to muck up the whole situation. Every time that you take that one step where you can get inside from a guy who's trying to circle around you, move away from you, you're taking a big risk. And I saw AJ just getting clipped to shit on his way in, and eating some shots and then getting in and trying to work the body again and trying to throw wild uppercuts and hooks and whatnot and getting caught for it. And then it's so easy to sit back and say, yeah, look at him, he got fucked up, or he never pushed the pace because he wasn't so super successful outside of round 9. That's not how boxing works. You have to appreciate what you're seeing because people won't always be successful. What I saw in this fight was I saw a 7-5 fight decision for Usyk, but I saw an Anthony Joshua who did fight well, and I saw an Anthony Joshua who was desperately trying to win in that 12th round. And I just thought this was just, man, a great fight. So that's the way I wanted to start it with that scorecard, right? First 3 rounds for AJ. Round 4, 5, 6, and 7 for Usyk. But then a rally from AJ in rounds 8 and 9. And then 10, 11, 12 for Usyk. And then just some little notes that we already touched on a lot of this, but yeah, I did see a bit of urgency from Joshua. Maybe not as much as you liked, but this is really, I feel like, the most important part. If you're going to say that, is rewatch, round 12 when he was trying desperately to land big shots and just walk towards Usyk. He got clipped for it. Yeah, rounds 8 and 9 again were absolutely impressive and a surprise, and that's kind of what I think that he may have had. One of two things: either AJ was being careful enough and wanted to be super aggressive eventually in those opening rounds, but because I think he was winning those first 3, he might have either fallen in love with the idea of boxing again with Usyk because he was having success early in this fight in a boxing strategic match, using the jab to the body, using his length and his the attributes he has as the less skillful fighter, so to speak. Or I do think it's possible that we saw like almost a surprise tactic that we do pick it up late, or we do pick up the pace, but instead of early like everybody thinks, because sometimes AJ will gas out towards the end of a fight. I think some of that boxing and not pushing the pace earlier in the fight was what we were seeing try to unfold in rounds 8 and did happen in 9, and the attempts and all after that. I think that it might have been a strategy to kind of surprise. Nobody expected him to have reserved energy and stamina to push a pace later in the fight. Nobody predicted that, and I thought maybe that was what AJ and his team were trying to do there. And yeah, just Joshua's antics after the fight, they were not great. They were not great. If you guys didn't see it, he basically, he was upset, and I don't blame him. He was upset, and so he was going to walk out of the ring, and then he comes back, and then when they're trying to talk to Usyk, who won the fight, who has we're in wartime, basically, he has a Ukrainian flag on, so he won the fight. And Anthony Joshua comes over and takes the microphone, like commandeers it, and just has his own moment of talking real, but it's not a good look. It's not talking real, talking what he really felt, but it wasn't a good look. It wasn't a good look to do that. You got to let the guy just have his moment. But I do feel for Anthony Joshua. I did also, my little note is Usyk's standing now in the pound for pound list. I'm curious, drop in the comments what you guys think where Usyk should stand. Because because I think that he earned a lot even before this fight, even clearing out cruiserweight and then going up and, he fought Witherspoon, which was that was whatever. But also the Chisora win when we didn't know how he'd be as a smaller guy in heavyweight was nice. And the AJ, he came in there as an underdog for that first fight and kind of swept everybody's attention. And now to do it again against a motivated, AJ, who I thought he had a good fight. This was a good effort from him. I think he should be high in the pound for pound list. But that being said, I'm curious what you guys think, because a lot of times in boxing we forget about people. It's a recency bias. So we just saw that fight, so then we go Usyk pound for pound number 1. And then everybody that had, Terrence Crawford or Errol Spence or Naoya Inoue or all these other people, or Tyson Fury after those things, he should be up there even if he's not. All these people on this list, there's always this recency bias. Like, I am a Canelo fan, but I know that Canelo has problems with his game. He has things that he can be exposed for. It's just true. We've seen it before. Some of those wins are fantastic and very well deserved and just great. And unifying all those belts, at this upper weight class for him was really nice. Kind of getting that one little light heavyweight belt for him was nice that time. But then he loses, his fight to Dimitri Bivol, and now every person has forgotten about him. Crawford, Spence, these guys have not lost. Tank Dave, all these people are still there. They're still doing, Shakur Stevenson, everybody's still doing what they were doing without defeats, and you had them high on the pound for pound list. And now that we see a Usyk performance, or it could have been anybody, a lot of times people, but Usyk's number one. Well, are you gonna put Usyk over Crawford? I actually don't have that much of a problem with it. It depends on how you make your lists is the answer. Because there is no wrong way to make a pound for pound list. In my eyes, there's two ways. Oh, there is wrong ways, but there's two different ways. You can base it off of the eye test, what you see in a fighter, how good they look to be, and imagining that, because Terrence Crawford's that way, right? To me. So, and you can imagine, is it shocking if he beats Spence? No. And is it shocking if he never loses and he has way more accomplishments, moves up in weight and takes other... No, it's not necessarily, it wouldn't shock me. It shouldn't shock you. But we haven't seen any of those kind of crazy tests where you earn these, accolades that so few people can earn. Canelo, for instance, does not look as good as on the eye test. He's a great fighter. He doesn't use his jab enough, and he does get hit by the jab a lot, and so on and so forth, other things. But he's also has a couple of wins in there that were kind of gifted to him, so to speak. But he doesn't look. But does he have more accomplishments than Terrence Crawford? Well, fuck yeah, he does. Absolutely, he does. So Usyk is at this point where he does look good, but if you said, no, I don't think he's as skillful a fighter, though, even though he's as like a Terrence Crawford, I don't have a problem with that. But, there's a debate to be had, but I don't have a problem with that. But again, Usyk's now reaching that stage where he's cleared out cruiserweight, and now he's twice back to once, first time as an underdog, beaten AJ, came back and defended those belts and did it again, and is looking to unify in a fight with Tyson Fury. We have to, he has now had crazy accomplishments. So it's all about how you what you base making your list on. Anyways, that was my rant for that fight. Real quick, I did want to shout this out. There was a huge win on Showtime for Sergey Lipinets, as he just beats the hell out of and knocks down and stops. Coming in as a late replacement off of a loss, getting viciously put away by Boots Ennis in a fight that looked completely uncompetitive and only went half the distance. He's a late replacement on Showtime, coming in for Figueroa Jr., who, by the way, I've heard a lot of people before this fight happened confusing Figueroa with his brother, who was actually the one who fought Cool Boy Steph, and it wasn't this guy. So I've heard that a lot. I thought that was kind of funny. But this was a huge win for Sergey Lipinets. Big fan of that guy. Definitely wanted to shout him out. And before we go, let's give our predictions and talk a bit about the Jose Pedraza versus Richard Commey fight. So, we'll start with Pedraza. Pedraza has an incredible amateur background. He's medaled, I believe, in the Olympics before. He's had belts at 130. He's had belts at 135. He is the guy that went a long distance in a fight with Tank Davis. I believe that was the one that was on the Mayweather-McGregor undercard. He's coming off of a loss to Ramirez. I thought he did really good in that fight. I thought that fight, you could have easily scored it as a draw. That's what I thought about that fight, that it was very close. The decisions did not reflect what I saw in that fight. He's slick as they come. And he's got, even though he's Puerto Rican, he's got a little bit of that kind of Cuban disease, so to speak, because those Cuban fighters are so slick. They're known for their defensive tactics. And then the thing that they just will, against the very best people in the world, they're just so hard to hit. But the thing that always gets them is just not letting their hands go enough. or using more than just the jab, which is your main weapon, but you do want to use other punches, man. And so the sniper pedraza, he kind of has that deal with him, but he's a very good fighter. He is fighting Richard Commey, coming off of a bad loss to Vasily Lomachenko, a loss where he was just gradually beaten down throughout the fight and didn't win not a single round. He is a very powerful puncher. He has power in both hands. I think what we saw in that Lomachenko fight, don't get me wrong, Jose the Sniper Pedraza is no Vasily Lomachenko, but he is of the same kind of game plan of slick defense, head movement, and sniping people with the jab on their way in. And being what we saw in that Commey Lomachenko fight, and being that it was actually like a gradual, it's bad to get beat up for that long of a period of time without the fight being stopped. That's bad. Those are the ones that kind of stick with an athlete, afterwards. Not so much, a one-hit knockout. You got to worry about, their chin, or how do they feel emotionally about their confidence level going. That's the kind of thing with knockouts. It's actually way worse to just take like a beating for 12 whole rounds and get knocked down several times. I'm picking Jose the Sniper Pedraza to win this fight. I think that Commey has a hard time with his little slickness in there. I think he moves around the ring. He pokes that jab in. I think that he wins, and that he wins by decision. That's my pick for that fight. We did the live for the Usyk Joshua 2. If you guys want to go revisit that. If you haven't seen the fight on, it'd be cool to kind of time it up with where we're at. It's a long fucking one because we didn't know when the card was starting. I usually like to do the co-main and the main event, recording-wise, for those lives. Kind of literally just were totally confused about the start times of this card, so went on for 3.5 hours. You guys skip to the end, the main event, if you'd like, and kind of match it up to watch along with me. I did try my best to actually sit there, watch it, and give some critiques on what I saw, more than previous in the episode with the silly shit and having fun with friends. Until next time, loyal fight fans, we appreciate you. We appreciate the thumbs up very, very much. And I very much appreciate the new subscribers, especially the new subscribers who are true boxing fans, who have come over from watching multiple other boxing podcasts. You guys are the guys that I need, and girls, to help send a message out to a friend that likes boxing and say, hey, come check this podcast, because we need those fans. We're here for the loyal fight